You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans, you probably know by now that EJ DiMera is claiming that he turned over a new leaf after he woke up from his coma. And he says he wants to be a better man after this shooting has shaken him up. Apparently, he's learned his lesson after all this time. So the question is, what does this mean for EJ and Belle Black? And I'm just wondering if EJ may step away from Belle based on his better man claims. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. We're going to talk about this so-called new and improved EJ DiMera. You know, he and Belle declared their love for each other not that long ago on Days, but it may not last. We know that Marlena does not want Elvis Jr. with her daughter Belle, but EJ just told his brother Chad that he is a taken man. He's off the market. He is smitten with Belle and vice versa. That came up when EJ offered to let Chad take his date with Cat Greene and was telling him, you know, go have a good time, see what happens. So according to EJ, he's off the market. He and Belle are on lock, but this may not last. Although EJ is really into Belle and has strong feelings for her, EJ has to know in his heart of hearts that he is the worst person for Belle to be involved with romantically. Even if EJ is really good from here on out, his past is so messy. And it is a past that comes back to bite him fairly frequently, like it did when Johnny finally learned his origin story about EJ blackmailing Sammy into sex. That's been over for quite a while, and there it was coming back up and ripping families apart. And of course, a huge blast from EJ's sinful past just came and went. That was Arnold Finnegar. And before EJ managed to get rid of him, Arnold was up to his usual awful antics. And of course, if you remember, it was Stefano and EJ who convinced Arnold to have facial surgery and become Rafe's doppelganger. And yeah, EJ didn't want Arnold in town, wasn't happy to see him, kept trying to get him to go away. But because of their dirty shared past and all the dirt that he had on EJ, well, he couldn't stop him. It took him a while to neutralize him. So there's no telling how many more skeletons are going to come out of EJ's closet that could harm Belle, you know, professionally, personally, and could just rip lives apart. So if EJ really wants to show that he is a better man, then maybe he'll decide to break up with Belle Black so he won't hurt her worse later down the line. Recently on Days of Our Lives, Belle and her mom, Marlena Evans, had a heart-to-heart chat regarding her relationship with EJ. And of course, Belle made it clear to her mom, Marlena, that she really does love the guy. And she actually thinks EJ is capable of changing after his near-death experience. Mama Marlena, of course, just wants her daughter Belle to be happy, but she also wants her to be careful and to be mindful of EJ's past mistakes. And we know there's lots of them. And so this week, Marlena and EJ had a talk at the hospital. They were talking about Johnny and his struggles after learning his origin story. Marlena encouraged EJ to have a difficult conversation with Johnny about it, but we'll see if he'll even listen to EJ. And Marlena did not just give EJ her blessing to be with Belle. She listened to EJ talk about being a changed man, being a better man, and Marlena said that Belle truly believes EJ wants to be better, but you know, whether he is, that remains to be seen. And of course, EJ is very optimistic because of Belle's faith in him. But for Marlena's side of it, she's going to believe it when she sees it. She isn't interested in EJ's words, but his actions. That will show Marlena if it's true and if he really has changed, because she knows quite well how in many, many ways EJ's ruined the lives of several people she loves. That includes Sammy, Eric, and now Johnny, among others. So right now, Belle really thinks she and EJ could have the makings of a good relationship. After all, you know, she feels like she kind of got Marlena's blessing this week on Days of Our Lives. It wasn't enthusiastic. It was kind of conditional, kind of tepid. tepid and could turn into disapproval at any moment. So I suspect if EJ reverts to doing bad things, Marlena would circle back around and say, Belle, you got to drop EJ. This isn't good. So at the moment, Belle is totally smitten with her ex-brother-in-law, EJ, and the feeling is mutual. But in the meantime, he may be thinking over what Marlena told him. And of course, the doc told EJ she knows he has a knack for ruining people's lives. And maybe Marlena's words will haunt him. Could be that EJ decides he won't be able to be the kind of boyfriend that Belle Black needs and deserves after all. So that takes us to this other red flag that could point to EJ and Belle splitting soon. So after Chad and EJ's recent talk, he agreed that Chad should take the date with Cat, and they're planning a picnic. And that was after Chad was warning her about EJ. At the same time, Cat didn't seem off-put by EJ. She seemed unbothered by the idea of a dinner date with the bad boy DiMera, but then Chad stepped in. And it was also surprising that EJ was teasing Chad and then immediately gave him the date instead of messing with him or taking the date to, yank his chain. Maybe EJ really did change or trying to change, how just watching it is very unlike Elvis to step aside for the good of somebody else as he did with Chad. Now, here's the red flag, though. We got to remember that in the Days of Our Lives 60th anniversary press shoot, the powers that be paired EJ, Chad, and Cat together for promo photos. That's not for nothing, and that points to something changing. That shoot was for episodes airing this fall in November, and it really makes you wonder if Belle will still be in the picture with EJ in the holiday season after we saw this behind the scenes stuff. So if Belle is not with EJ, we have to wonder why. Maybe he realizes he is a bad choice for Belle and he breaks things off with her because EJ is trying to do the right thing. Now, it's quite clear that Belle is a smitten kitten, and I do believe EJ has real feelings for her. So that is a head scratcher, how you go from that to this fall, EJ possibly being in a love triangle with Cat and Chad as hinted at by the pictures of the three of them together with nobody else in the photos, just the three of them. So something big has to shift for this triangle thing to manifest, if that's what these photos do mean. And so obviously, Belle could be the one to dump EJ for some bad deed he does, but it could also be EJ walking away from Belle because he sees he will never be worthy of her, and EJ may realize, okay, if I stay with her, I'm just going to ruin Belle's life in the end. What you think?
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.